everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Tara. I am here with a very special guest, a woman who is very inspiring to me. She has impacted me so much in my journey to womanhood. She's like a second mom, my aunt Sharron Sauls, and she's here today and I love her so much. You guys, she is one of the strongest women that I know. She has overcome so much and has such a positive, impactful story. She just graduated from law school at the Sandra Day O'Connor School at ASU. Yes, she's a mother of two, and she's also running for Justice of the Peace. Oh, I just got chills saying that. Whoop! My aunt's the bomb. So we're here today, and thanks for coming.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So many people know you throughout the community. You've done a lot of community service. She is always out in her community, you guys, and that is very amazing. It shows like someone that's running, they can relate to people because they've served so much. So who is Sharron outside of the community, outside of work? Who is Sharron Sauls?
Well, just like my Instagram post says, the heading or the title, I'm a Christian first, and I'm a mom second. And I have family, and then of course I used to be an athlete, but
yep, yeah, she used to have on those track shoes.
But as you said, I consider myself a servant leader, but I think my biggest and greatest accomplishments are my two angels that I have. So
yeah, that's beautiful. So one thing I know about you is that you're driven and you persevere. You worked a full-time job. We're taking care of two kids, taking them to school, practice, all their meets, band concerts, while going to law school. How were you able to do that?
Well, I have this motto. I always tell people that if you have kids, you parent with a purpose, and that is, I really believe in that. So they are the love of my life, but I also had something that I wanted to do that was also the love of my life. I really wanted to pursue law. But I have these wonderful kids that are A students, so I chose to go to law school when they were making the grades and they were old enough and I didn't have to help them anymore. In fact, they helped me through law school.
Yeah. So you there was some sacrifice there. You had to put what you wanted to do on hold to be a mom. And yeah. I feel like a lot of women can relate to that. You have to put your life on hold because there's kids before you, so I admire that as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the right time.
Right.
Like right now, the season that you're in, it's like the right time, especially in like history and everything, and I'm excited to be a part of it as well.
Yeah. I think 2017, 2018 is the year of the woman, and I think if you really watch the news, you're looking at politics, you're looking at even sports, you see us really moving and shaking, so this is my year as well. So
absolutely. So what put on your heart? Was it God, or who did you hear from? What made you feel like I want to run for Justice of the Peace?
It was definitely God, because I went through some major challenges in my life that a lot of people go through, and it really made a mark in my life. My life could have gone a couple of different ways, but I was truly blessed, and I used that blessing to, impart my knowledge and my skills onto other people. But that major thing in my life, I spoke to God about it. Just like a lot of people, you have some valleys in your life. Yeah. And because I stood strong and I listened to the Lord, I'm at my peak right now. So,
yeah.
So that was a part of it.
Yeah. Has there been any obstacles while running, or has there been some roadblocks in the way? Because I know it can't be that easy.
Right. Well, I hadn't officially announced my campaign yet. So right now I'm doing a lot of networking. So as of late, I've been telling people that the deeper you get into politics and the law, you learn things that you didn't know before. Mm-hmm. So some days I say, I wish I did know these things because life is difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I say, I want to know this because it empowers me to continue to help other people.
Wow, that's powerful. That's really good. So before running for this and stuff, you did a lot of things with helping people with landlord-tenant, and I feel like that makes you more relatable too, because you have seen people at their lowest points. You've been around poor people, wealthy people. How do you feel like you can relate to people? Do you feel like that job impacted you to relate more?
Well, I was a landlord and tenant counselor for 13 years, and one of the reasons I was there for 13 years is because I learned from my customers. As you said, I worked with our veterans who were homeless. I worked with our domestic violence victims. I had professors, doctors. It ran the gamut. I worked with a lot of mentally ill and disabled and homeless folks. So on those days where I was throwing a pity party, the right customer would come in and you'd say, boy, life is great. I'm truly blessed. So, and the other thing that I did in my job is you imparted knowledge on people. Knowledge is so huge, and I wish that people would suck it up when they have the chance. And I was really blessed because when I shared my knowledge, I educated folks, they were empowered. They went out and they felt that they can conquer the world. And that's what I like doing for folks. I don't need anything back from them, but I want to make sure that I'm imparting goodness on them. I always say, leave a person better off than what when you first met them.
That's really good, and that's really important, you guys. Something that inspires me about you is that you've never let your circumstances stop you from doing what you want to do and that purpose God's put on your heart. And for me, that's helped me with school, like even having an aunt getting her master's in law during the time I was going to school. I'm like, I have no reason to complain. If she can work a full-time job, take care of kids, and go to school, I mean, there's so much that I can do. So I admire that from you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So what is something that most people don't know about Sharron Sauls?
Well, let's see. What don't they know about me? Well, I can't say about how madly in love I am with my kids. I think everybody knows that. That my 11-year-old daughter is my best friend, and my 13-year-old son is my love, the love of my life. I guess everyone knows that.
Yeah.
That I have fears and concerns like everybody else, and I've been told, oh, you're so strong, you're so confident, but we all go through those days where you're like, is this going to work out?
Yeah.
Why isn't it working out? Or why me? And all of that. So I have the same fears as everyone else. So
Wow, that's good. What do you feel like was the greatest lesson you've learned in life, your journey here so far?
well, I have another motto. And that motto is you do what you have to do now, or you do what you don't want to do now in order to do what you do want to do later.
Oh,
And
that's
so
good.
what I've learned is a lot of the things that I thought was horrible or negative or that would break me, they made me stronger.
Wow.
So I've gone through divorce, fighting for child custody, just all of those horrible things that some of the horrible things people go through. I've gone past them, moved past them, and every time I can do something much bigger than the challenges that came before, the ones that I thought I wouldn't make it through. So
Wow. And I feel like that's why I really want you to win. And I feel like this is perfect, the perfect job position for you. No better person, because you've walked in so many people's shoes. There's not many people that have ran that have those experiences that you've had. You know, you could understand what the people are going through and make a difference because you've been in their shoes.
Right.
You know, so I feel like you're perfect for the job.
yes,
Vote for her when she runs.
2018,
Yes.
August and November.
Yes. So what is your favorite quality about yourself?
I guess there's a couple. When I was younger, I was not a nice person. Ask your mom. And I think that I've changed that probably 100%, that now people see the kindness, and I'm a giving person. I not monetarily, but I will give you my time, I will give you my ear, I will give you other resources. I may not be able to give you something, but I'm going to give you someone else that can get that for you.
Yeah.
So that, and having my kids, it's taught me a lot of patience. So I have that a lot more than I have before.
Yeah.
You know, another thing I love about myself is I'm in a place where I don't need to challenge other people. And I'll give you an example. You're walking in the store and someone's walking in your lane and you're defiant. You're going to bowl them over if they don't move. I'm at the point where I say, I'm sorry, and I move out of the way because I feel good enough about myself that I don't need to challenge you.
That's good.
I don't need that anymore. I know a lot of us do, you know,
Yes,
you do the,
you feel like
the-
you have to. Someone cuts you
Yeah,
off
yeah,
in the car, you want to.
Yeah, I don't need to do the road rage. I don't need to make you feel smaller because I know the world's going to do that. So
Yeah.
Again, I want to leave you better than how you came to me. So
That's really good. What is something that you want the world to remember about Sharron Sauls when you leave this earth?
I definitely want them to know that I raised my kids in the best Christian manner that I knew how to do. I tell my kids that you're a gift from God, and I'm going to do the best with the gift that God gave me.
Yeah.
And so I said I could never just throw that gift away or not show him that I appreciated that gift. And I think that's one of the reasons why I parent the way I do.
Yeah.
So I definitely want people to know that. I want people to know that the challenges that I've gone through, they did make me stronger. Sometimes I can talk about them, other times I can't.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more, but I do want them to know too that this, I think, is really important. This is for the kids. I was not a good student, and I can joke about it now. I was a dumb jock. But I struggled with math, and I was not the best student. And then you go to law school, and then you get your B average, and I'm like, where did that come from? Because, I really loved it. But what I want kids to know is that you may not be the best student, but when you find something you really love or you really want to do, you can figure out different ways to get to it. And there are different avenues. I really want people to know that you don't have to give up. I know a lot of people have suicidal tendencies or thoughts, or they feel that life isn't going to change. And I always say today may be rainy and stormy, but tomorrow the sky's going to be blue, or it's going to be raining with the God's promise coming out, the rainbow. So just don't give up on just because of what's happening the day before.
Ooh, I couldn't have said it better than that. Wow, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So when you run for Justice of the Peace, what do you want to accomplish? Say that you win, what is your biggest goal that you want to accomplish? Or how do you want to change the community?
Ooh, I have a lot of goals. Let me start from the beginning. My goal is to educate.
Yeah.
I want to change lives too. When I was going through things like my divorce and everything, I had a situation because of the marriage where I was in front of a judge, and the judge had the power to change my life and turn it into a horrible situation. Yeah. But that judge used his power for good. And that's one of the times too when I decided I wanted to be a judge. I said, I want that power, and I want that power to use it for good. Mm-hmm. I want to do for other people what that judge did for me, and how he made me feel like, okay, I can do other things. And so I want to do that for people, and I really, really want to touch children's lives, because there are so many things that happen, and I want them to know their rights. My kids, they're learning their constitutional rights right now. If you see them, ask them what their First Amendment is. They will tell you. I think that, again, as I said, knowledge is power. I think that when people feel that they know more, they're able to fight for themselves, speak up for themselves, do more. So I really want to do that. As a judge, I want to change our judicial system too. There are a lot of people who are in prison or in jail because they're impoverished, because they're mentally ill, because they don't have help that the average person would have. I want to impart rules where instead of maybe a single mom who got a speeding ticket maybe in a school zone, maybe she's low income and the speeding ticket for the school zone is about $300. Why put her in jail? Why not have other ways to resolve our societal issues? Maybe she can pay a $20 fee monthly or do some community service. What people don't understand about our judicial system is when that mom goes to jail because she can't afford that bill, she loses her children to CPS, she's evicted from her property, and she loses her job. Therefore, we didn't help our society in any way.
Wow.
So when we have alternatives, you keep her, the family stays together, the job is still there, her apartment or home is still there, and then she continues to do her part in society. Mm-hmm.
That's good. I've never heard it like that. That's really good.
There's a lot of things that we can do in society. I also want to help other people, like our domestic violence victims. There's a federal law called the VAWA law, Violence Against Women's Act, where once upon a time they would get evicted if they were the victim. The law's changed now; they're protected. I want to be that judge who knows when that protective order, that restraining order, is actually needed. Yeah. I also want to help our veterans. Veterans shouldn't have to be homeless, but if once they're evicted, that's where they end up. But you can do corrective services like mental health services, things like that. Yeah. So long term down the line, I want to be well known enough where I'm a national speaker. My target audience will be junior high and high school students, again, to impart enthusiasm, self-esteem, courage, knowledge. So that's where I want to end up later on. After being a judge, I want to continue helping kids.
Wow, that's beautiful. And this is why you inspire me, because you have such a heart for people. And I mean, it's so easy to be bitter and let our circumstances make us bitter and mad at the world, but you're using those to make the world better, and I think that's amazing. So is there any last thoughts that you want to share, or anything that you want to touch on before we leave?
Yes, I want to ask everyone for money.
Donate!
But seriously, in order for me to run for Justice of the Peace, there are two things that I need. I need volunteers, so I need bodies. I need people to knock on doors, to host parties, to maybe stuff envelopes, things like that. I also need money. You cannot run a campaign if you don't have folks donating money. Right now, I'm asking for pledges. Whatever amount you have, I would love to get the pledge. In about 2 or 3 months, I'll come back to you, follow up, and say, hey, are you still able to pledge? Because I want to be your Justice of the Peace. I do want to share that I'm planning to run for Justice of the Peace in the Kyrene Justice Court. That's important to know. Yeah. That's Legislative District 18, and that encompasses all of Ahwatukee, a portion of Chandler, Mesa, and Tempe. Wow. So, but you can donate no matter where you live, whether it's out of state or in other legislative districts.
Yeah, and I'll get the info from you to put a link where they can donate or contact you as well. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and being so transparent and relatable. I bet there's one person, probably many, that can relate to you and are inspired by your story. And thank you guys for tuning in today to Coffee with Tara. Hopefully you had a good time and enjoyed your coffee, and have a blessed day.